Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host Myron. Today, we've got some American single malts. Now, it might be hard for these two to knock these two off their pedestal. Let's get it.
Bottle drop, bottle drop, bottle drop.
Like I was saying in the beginning, these two have quite big shoes to fill because so far, when it comes to American single malts, Old Line, that is my favorite distiller of American single malts. This is the cask strength and this is the cognac finished version. I love both of these products. If you haven't seen my review on these, please go back and check those out. Now, right here, we've got the Balcones. This is the lineage. It comes in at 47 ABV, which is 94 proof. It does says aged for a minimum of 3 years. However, the Yellowstone is not age stated at all. It doesn't say anything like straight on it, so I really don't know how to take that. Now, when it comes to American single malts, I don't necessarily know what the rules are and the laws are for how they have to classify their products when they are non-age stated. So we'll get into the Balcones first. And this is the one from the Total Wine. So if you watch my Total Wine bourbon hunt video, I think that was the Beltway Bourbon Haul. I can't remember if it was part 1 or part 2. I believe it was part 1. You'll see it's on the shelf. You don't necessarily see me pick it up in the video. This one right here, this was one that I got down in Richmond. No, this was down in the Virginia Beach area when I traveled down there for one of my son's travel games. So right away, I just want to get into them. I don't know much about them. I am really feeling my single malts lately. American single malts, Irish single malts, my scotches. So I just want to get into these, see where they fare, how they hold up against these two, because right now these are the cream of the crop in my opinion. So let's get into the Balcones. There's a nice, that malt always produces a very, very nice fruit note. It's normally like a raisin note, a raisin, like a yogurt covered raisin or a vanilla and raisin together. You do get some of those like maybe pineapple notes. I don't get a lot of apple, but you do get some of those sweet like pineapple notes, like that dried fruit note. The raisin is really prevalent. Let's get into the palate. Even more so on the palate. It doesn't come across very viscous. It's actually kind of thin. Is it drinkable? Yes. But I wouldn't say that the palate is medium, thin to medium. I would say that it's more along the lines of thin. It's not bad. I could see someone who's just getting into single malts probably liking this unless they are coming off of more higher proof, rich, robust bourbons. All right, so let's give the Yellowstone a chance. Now, the Yellowstone is something that I had someone in the comments say that they were interested in my take on it. Also, same thing with the Balcones, because one of the comments I believe said something about them having it before and just wanting to see what I thought about it. Let's get into the nose. So far, I would have to give the nose to the Yellowstone. The nose on the Yellowstone is much more fruitier, much more vanilla-like. It picks up much more like a bourbon. Those fruit notes are really nice. Let's get into the palate. I would have to say the mouthfeel is a little more viscous than the Balcones. It's got a nice spice to it. I would say it's got that same raisin date, but a little more richer. And it does say something about pear on the back. I am picking up a slight pear, but along with that pear, I'm picking up honey. That's actually pretty decent. Side by side at least. So I'll tell you what, let's go into the Balcones one more time just to get the nose out of it. Yeah, that malty nose, man. That raisin, a little bit of like dried crushed pineapples, little bit of apricot, and believe it or not, it's got like a slight touch of a peat. And maybe that just comes from malt. Maybe we think that a lot of that peaty note, some of that peaty note could be from the malt, but maybe we think that that peaty note comes from the peat because we're so used to tasting it in peated products. But it's got like a little bit of just a touch of a peated note in it. Back into the palate one more time. Just a very light raisin, very thin in the mouth. It's probably not something that I would always go back to. I may even consider this more of a summertime pour. It does offer some char to the back. That char turns into a slight licorice note, which you guys know that I am not a big fan of. Let's get back into the Yellowstone. Yeah, that nose is more like a bourbon. It just has like this really nice vanilla note in it. There's a nice creaminess to it too. I don't pick up as many raisins in the nose. I do pick up like a nice light honey, a touch of a date, maybe some of that pear. Let's get into the palate one more time. If I had to choose between the two, it is definitely the Yellowstone all day. The Yellowstone actually has a little bit of a nutty note too. It's got like, you guys, if you watched my video before, you've heard me describe this as like a sunflower seed nuttiness. And I am picking that up on the palate. This one, I'm actually enjoying. Now, if I had it by itself, sometimes when you put them side by side, they can alter the flavor of each other, especially when you're not cleaning. I choose not to clean all the time because sometimes it makes the next pour a little watered down. But I am liking the Yellowstone. However, the richness in these two and the crushed like dried pineapples, the dried apricots, they just, to me, they kill it for me. And the viscosity on both of these with that light, very, very, very light smokiness, more so in the cognac finished version than the cask strength version. But these to me are the cream of the crop. Are these great? I would not say that. Are they good? We can go back and forth. This one right here is okay. This one I would say is a lot better. Let's get into the breakdown. These are, I think, on the shelf. So I don't know if they are chased. I don't want to say that they are an allocated products. I don't believe that they are chased. But I will say they are not necessarily worth the chase. And if they are on the shelf, love it, like it, or leave it, I'm going to have to say that I like it. Not necessarily enough to say that I will pick it up every time. This one, at this point, I'm liking it enough that if I run out just to have something different on the bar, I would pick it up. I'm not going to say that I love it, but I do like it enough to pick up another bottle. Are they worth over retail? I can't remember what I paid for these. I think this one was more around that $40 range, and I think this one was somewhere around that $50 range. So I can't see myself paying over retail. So what I paid for them is probably what I'll pay for them in the future. Will I give these to a new bourbon drinker? I think I would give these to a new bourbon drinker. This one comes in at 94 proof. This one is 108 proof. It does not drink like 108 proof. Now, maybe that's just me and my palate, but that one does not drink nearly anywhere close to 108 proof. I don't see a new bourbon drinker having an issue with this, or single malt or whiskey drinker having an issue with this 108 proof Yellowstone at all. Will they always be on a bar? Once I am out of the Balcones, it will probably not be back on the bar until it gets a little more age on it, maybe a little more viscosity to it. The Yellowstone, I think I like it enough to keep it on the bar. I think it is something that I may go to in the future and something that I may pick up when I run out of it. So with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.